DeepSeek just dropped V3.2 and its wild Speciale variant, and these open-source models are claiming to match GPT-5 and rival Gemini 3 Pro, while crushing gold medal performance in 4 major international competitions. This isn't hype. This is a Chinese AI lab with limited chip access, somehow creating frontier-level reasoning models that the entire research community is talking about right now. Let me break down what makes this release genuinely different. DeepSeek released 2 models simultaneously. The standard V3.2 is designed as your daily AI assistant for reasoning tasks, positioned directly against GPT-5 in performance. Then there's V3.2 Speciale, which is the maxed-out reasoning beast that's matching Google's Gemini 3 Pro on the hardest benchmarks available. But here's what caught everyone's attention. DeepSeek V3.2 Speciale achieved gold medal-level results in the 2025 International Mathematical Olympiad, the Chinese Mathematical Olympiad, the ICPC World Finals, and the International Olympiad in Informatics. These are competitions where only OpenAI and Google's internal unreleased models have hit this level before. We're talking about problems that stump most professional mathematicians and computer scientists. The technical innovation behind this is something called DeepSeek Sparse Attention. Traditional transformer models have a massive problem with long context windows because the computational cost grows quadratically as you add more tokens. Think of it like trying to remember every single word in a conversation that gets longer and longer. It becomes impossibly expensive really fast. DeepSeek's sparse attention changes this from quadratic complexity to nearly linear by intelligently deciding which past tokens actually matter for the next prediction. It runs a lightweight scoring pass to rank previous tokens by relevance, then only pays attention to the top candidates. What does this mean practically? Processing 128,000 tokens, roughly equivalent to a 300-page book, now costs about 70 cents per million tokens for decoding. That's compared to $2.40 with their previous V3.1 model. We're talking about cutting inference costs by more than half while maintaining the same quality output. That's absolutely massive for anyone building applications that need to process large documents, entire code bases, or lengthy research papers. The context window itself is 131,000 tokens, which puts it in the same league as the longest context models available today. And according to independent benchmarks, V3.2 is performing on par with or better than its predecessor, despite using this sparse attention mechanism. That's the engineering achievement here. They managed to reduce computational complexity substantially without sacrificing performance. Now here's where it gets really interesting for developers. DeepSeek V3.2 is the first model from this lab to integrate reasoning directly into tool use. Most AI models treat reasoning and tool calls as separate steps. You think about what to do, then you call a function, then you think about the results. V3.2 maintains its chain of thought while executing external functions in real time. The model can think through a problem while simultaneously using tools, and it supports both thinking mode and non-thinking mode for tool use depending on what you need. To train this capability, DeepSeek synthesized a massive amount of agent training data covering over 1,800 different environments and 85,000 complex instructions. They're not just bolting tool use onto a reasoning model. They fundamentally trained reasoning and tool use together from the ground up. This matters because the future of AI isn't just chatbots that answer questions. It's agents that can actually accomplish complex tasks autonomously by reasoning through steps while using whatever tools they need. The Speciale variant is currently only available through their API, and here's the catch. It's served via a temporary endpoint that expires on December 15, 2025. DeepSeek is being upfront about why. The Speciale model has maxed out reasoning capabilities, which means it requires significantly higher token usage. It dominates complex tasks but burns through compute. They're positioning this as a community evaluation period so researchers can test it and provide feedback before they figure out the long-term deployment strategy. After December 15th, those capabilities are expected to merge back into the standard release in some form. Both models are open source with MIT licensing, which means you can download the weights, modify them, use them commercially, redistribute them, whatever you need. The base 685 billion parameter models are available on Hugging Face right now, along with the full technical report. DeepSeek is also releasing the core GPU kernels in both Tilelang and CUDA, so developers can prototype rapidly with the same infrastructure. The API pricing got slashed by over 50% across the board compared to previous DeepSeek models. They're not just competing on performance. They're competing on cost efficiency too. And when you combine that with the sparse attention improvements, you're looking at a model that's both cheaper to call and faster to run on long contexts. Here's what makes this moment significant. DeepSeek is a Chinese AI lab reportedly working with limited access to advanced semiconductor chips due to export restrictions. Despite these constraints, they're producing models that match or exceed the performance of well-funded American labs with unlimited hardware access. Google DeepMind's principal research engineer Susan Zhang publicly praised DeepSeek for the detailed technical report that came with this release, specifically noting their work on stabilizing models post-training and enhancing agentic capabilities. The timing of this release is also notable. It dropped right during NeurIPS, one of the most prestigious AI research conferences of the year. The entire research community is there, and DeepSeek just put down a benchmark that says open-source reasoning models can compete at the absolute frontier. This isn't a model that's close to GPT-5. According to their benchmarks and independent testing, it's performing at the same level on everyday reasoning tasks. What does this mean for the AI landscape going forward? First, the open-source community now has access to frontier-level reasoning capabilities. Anyone can download these weights and start building. Second, the cost barrier for deploying sophisticated AI agents just dropped significantly. You can process massive contexts at a fraction of the previous cost. Third, the integration of reasoning with tool use in a single model opens up new possibilities for autonomous agents that can actually accomplish complex multi-step tasks. The standard V3.2 is live right now on DeepSeek's app, web interface, and API. The Speciale variant is API only until December 15th, at the same pricing as V3.2, but without tool calling support. It's purely focused on maximal reasoning performance. If you're working on anything that involves mathematical reasoning, competitive programming, logical problem solving, or complex multi-step analysis, this is the model you want to test. DeepSeek has consistently pushed boundaries with each release, but V3.2 feels like a different level of ambition. They're not just iterating. They're introducing fundamental architectural innovations like sparse attention, training reasoning, and tool use together from scratch, and releasing everything open source so the community can build on it. The fact that they're matching Gemini 3 Pro and GPT-5 while being transparent about their methods and limitations is exactly what the field needs right now. The broader question this raises is about the concentration of AI capabilities. If a lab with limited hardware access can produce frontier models through algorithmic innovation and training efficiency, what does that mean for the narrative that only the biggest tech companies can compete at the cutting edge? DeepSeek is proving that smart engineering and novel architectures can make up for hardware disadvantages. So if you're building AI applications, working on research, or just following the space closely, DeepSeek V3.2 deserves your attention. The models are available now. The technical report breaks down exactly how they built it, and the community is already starting to dig into what's possible. This is the kind of release that shifts what people expect from open-source AI, and it's going to be fascinating to see what gets built on top of it. Drop your take in the comments. I read every one of them. Make sure to subscribe and hit like if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.